Oh, well, good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another episode of 162 Times, your daily baseball recap and preview show. I'm your host, Daniel Turner. It's a pleasure to be with you here on a Monday evening. We're doing the show a little bit late today because I had a doubleheader in Ottawa softball. We're back in Ottawa now. Had a nice weekend away in the woods and back home. And back after it. So what we've got for you today is a little recap of Game 3 between the Royals and the Mariners from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. As a reminder, the Royals had won the first two games of that series, so the Mariners were looking to salvage at least one victory from this road stand. And then tonight, they are actually back in Seattle and already underway. A few innings have played against the lowly Chicago White Sox, who are visiting for a 4-game series. So this is a real good opportunity for the Mariners to, put the hammer down and win a few games against a team that has been struggling all season, to put it nicely, in reference to the Chicago White Sox. So let's get into it. Let's start with, and then of course, before we get into it, let's just remind ourselves that this is Monday, so we're going to do our Sunday on a Monday recap. So we'll go through the scores from Sunday around baseball. It was a busy day. And then we will also take a look at the divisional standings and how that all shapes up. So let's get into it. We got a lot to cover. So the Mariners played Game 3, as I said, on Sunday afternoon, and they came away with the victory. So they salvaged a victory from this series. Very interesting game. It was 6-5 final score in 10 innings. And the Mariners, with the win, moved to 37 and 31st in the American League West. The Royals dropped to 39 and 27, still second place in their American League Central Division. The starters did not get the decisions. The win went to Mike Baumann, the new Mariner. He's now 3-0 on the year with a 3.24 ERA. The loss went to MacArthur of the Royals. He's now 2-3 with a 5.27 ERA. And the Sauce, Mr. Taylor Saucedo, got his third save of the year. And his ERA is 2.81. In terms of the starting pitching, it was George Joseph Kirby against Cole Reagans, a really excellent matchup, and both pitchers were pretty good. Kirby went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, just 1 run, 1 earned run, no walks as usual, and he struck out 4. No homers given up either. Cole Reagans, on the other hand, went 6 innings, gave up only 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, and he gave up a homer. Andres Munoz came on for the 8th for the Mariners. He pitched a clean inning with a strikeout. Baumann did the 9th. He actually gave up 2 hits and 2 earned runs and 2 regular runs and struck out 3 and gave up a home run. But he did, so he was credited. He got the blown save, but they ended up with the win because the Mariners took the lead for good in the 10th, right? And then in the 10th, it was Austin Voth, who did he got the first 2 outs. 2/3 of an inning. He also gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. Only one of them was earned because of the ghost runner, and he also gave up a home run. We'll get to that. And then Saucedo got the final out, thank goodness, and he didn't strike anyone out or walk anybody or give up any hits. Kansas City used a lot of pitchers. So first they had Klein come out of the bullpen and throw 2/3 of an inning. He got banged around. He gave up 4 hits for 2 runs, 2 of them earned. Zerpa did a 1/3 of an inning cleanly. Nick Anderson, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 K. Stratton, 1 inning, clean across the board. Then it was MacArthur who got into trouble in the 10th. He gave up 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And then Smith finished off the 10th inning, striking out 1. Overall, the Royals struck out 12 Mariners, pretty much average for the Mariners to strike out 12 times. The Mariners struck out 8 Royals and didn't walk anyone, whereas the Royals walked 3. In terms of the scoring and all that, J.P. Crawford led off the game for the second straight day in a row with a home run, a big shot to right center field, putting the Mariners up 1-0. Kyle Isbell got things tied in the bottom of the 5th by sack bunting home Freddie Fermin, the backup catcher for the Royals, tied the game at 1. Then in the top of the 7th, and I was driving home to Ottawa at this point, and so I knew it was 1-1. I couldn't find the game on TV, so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to drive home. I checked my phone as I was leaving, and I noted that Tyler Locklear had his first career major league hit, which was an RBI double to score Mitch Haniger to put the Mariners up 2-1 in the top of the seventh. So I was cheering that. Locklear was called up as I had predicted. I believe he was in Tacoma, but earlier this year he'd been in Arkansas, so he was a AAA call-up, I'm pretty sure. And Ty France has been retroactively placed on the 10-day IL with a heel fracture or something nasty like that. So anyway, Locklear looked pretty good. He made a couple plays in the infield as well. Anyway, he doubled home Mitch Haniger. And then manager Scott Servais pinch hit Josh Rojas for Victor Robles, and I said to myself, you know what? I think that's going to be pretty good. And then as I got in the car to drive away, I checked my phone again, and it was 3-1. And yeah, for sure, Rojas had singled in Tyler Locklear. So 3-1 Mariners. I'm thinking we're all good. But then, unfortunately, bottom of 9, check my phone again, and guess who? MJ Melendez. Mariners killer, MJ Melendez? Am I crazy? 2-run shot in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game 3-3. Oh, no, you got to be kidding me, right? Well, I stop for some candy about 30 minutes down the road. I check my phone. 6-3 Mariners. Yes, excellent. You know how? Well, first, top of the 10th, Julio singled, scored Josh Rojas, who was the ghost runner. Then, Cal Raleigh singled, scoring Dylan Moore and Julio Rodriguez. 6-3 Mariners. It's over, right? Well, yes, but not before Hunter Renfroe homered in the bottom of the 10th to make it 6-5. So it wound up being a one-run game as a result of all that action. Thank goodness the Mariners came away with the victory. Really pleased that they were able to do that. But obviously, these Royals are a good ball club, and they do not make it easy on anybody. Mariners were 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Royals were 2 for 4. Mariners left 7 on base. Royals left 5. Rojas was caught stealing. Kyle Isbell committed an error. Klein picked off Rojas, and he was also thrown out stealing Lamau. That's not a great night on the bases for Mr. Rojas, but otherwise I thought he looked pretty good. How did we do in RBIs? Cal had 2, Julio had 1, Crawford had 1, Locklear had 1, Rojas had 1. Nobody had a crazy night. Nobody had a crazy bad night. So anyway, good to get away with that. So they've now flown back to Seattle, and they will now be taking on the Chicago White Sox, who are 17-49 on the season. They managed to win 2 out of 4 against Boston at home, and now they've come to Seattle. They are not a good road team. This should be a decent matchup for the Mariners, this whole series, but you know, you never know. In these situations, I never like to get ahead of myself because they're going to have to bear down and deal with this. So I'm trying to do this show because I want to go watch this game. It's underway. I'm not going to talk at all about the score yet, but I will tell you about the pitchers. So for the White Sox, it's Eric Fedde who's going for him. He's a right-hander. He's 4-1 this season with a 3.14 ERA and a 1.15 WHIP. That's totally respectable. He's got 75 strikeouts in 77 innings. He's a former 18th overall pick. So he's no slouch. He's 31 years old. Mariners are going to have to, do well to score against him. Who are the Mariners sending to the mound tonight? Well, that would be Logan Gilbert. Logan, who this season is now 3-4 with a 2.99 ERA and a 0.96 WHIP, 80 strikeouts and 87 innings pitched. He's a great pitcher. We love Logan. We hope for the very best for him tonight. In terms of lineups, the White Sox are rolling out. Corey Julks will be leading off and playing left field. Nicky Lopez will be batting second and playing second. Luis Robert Jr. or Robert Jr. is center fielder and batting third. Gavin Sheets will DH and bat fourth. Andrew Vaughn will play first base and bat fifth. Former Blue Jay Paul DeJong and Cardinal will play shortstop and bat sixth. Lenine Sosa will play shortstop and bat seventh. Zach Deloche will play right field and bat eighth. And finally, behind the dish, catching, will be Corey Lee. An interesting lineup from the White Sox. I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard of Robert, Sheets, Vaughn, and DeJong. The rest of them I have not heard of yet. For the Mariners, leading off will be J.P. Crawford. He'll play shortstop. Josh Rojas will bat second and play third base. Julio Rodriguez will bat third and play center field. Cal Raleigh will do the catching and bat fourth. Mitch Haniger DHing, he'll bat fifth. Luke Raley's in left field batting sixth. Tyler Locklear gets the start at first base batting seventh. Dom Canzone back in the lineup. He'll bat eighth and play right field. And Ryan Bliss will play second and bat ninth. So, interesting lineup for the Mariners. We hope for the very best for them this evening in that contest. Now, in terms of who we expect to see for the rest of the series, it looks like the second game, which will also be a 9:40 Eastern start on Tuesday, that will feature Brian Wu for the Mariners, very exciting, and then he'll be going up against young Drew Thorpe, the 23-year-old who does not have a major league start to his name yet. So let's see what that kid's got for us. The Wednesday nighter is also a 9:40 Eastern start. The White Sox, will be rolling out right-hander Jonathan Cannon, 0-1 on the year so far. Not great numbers. He is also 23, so another young pitcher. The Mariners will throw Bryce Miller, 5-5 with a 3.81 ERA at the White Sox on Wednesday. And then the Thursday game, the concluding game of the series, that'll also be a 9:40 Eastern start. The White Sox are going to be rolling out lefty Garrett Crochet, not sure how you pronounce that, 24-year-old. He's 6-5 this season with a 3.33 ERA and a .93 WHIP. Saw him pitch against the Blue Jays. He was very good, so the Mariners will have to look out for that. They'll have Luis Castillo, 5-7 with a 3.35 ERA, looking for a bounce-back win, and that'll be on Thursday. So we have a great series against the White Sox. Again, we're as always here on the show, we're just hoping for the best. We're cheering the boys on. We like watching good baseball. Speaking of good baseball, Sunday was a packed slate, 15 games on the majors. In terms of the Mariners' divisional rivals in this one, you had the Angels finally beating the Astros. Good for them, 9-7. That was at home. Thank you, Los Angeles in the American League. We appreciate you. The Athletics lost 6-4 in 10 innings to the Blue Jays. And it looks like the Texas Rangers won 7-2 over San Francisco at home. Nathan Eovaldi with the win in that one. Otherwise, the Minnesota Twins 11-5 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's important for the Mariners. The Baltimore Orioles 9-2 over the Tampa Bay Rays. The Guardians 6-3 over the Marlins. The Tigers 10-2 over the Brewers. The Red Sox 6-4 over the White Sox. The Yankees 6-4 over the Dodgers. And then the rest of the scores are in the National League. So we had the Mets 6, the Phillies 5, the Nationals 8, the Braves 5, the Cardinals 5, the Rockies 1, the D-backs 9, the Padres 3. And that concludes your scores from Sunday. So a busy game. The reason I mentioned the Twins and the Orioles is they are holding wild card spots in the American. It's too early to look at the wild card, but I did today, and so those teams hold the wild card spots. So the Twins, especially, the Mariners want to make sure they stay ahead of them, because if it does come right down to it, they would be. Kansas City also holds a wild card spot, so the Mariners did beat them, so that is good. But the Twins are a little bit closer in range to the Mariners. They're 34-31, whereas the Mariners are 37-30. Right, so got to win those games. All right, let's look at the divisional standings. So starting with the Hogs in the American League East, Yankees still leading the division. They've got 2 games on Baltimore, but they haven't really managed to pull away. They're 46-21, 8-2 in their last 10 with a plus 111 run differential. But the Orioles are right there, 43-22, 7-3 in their last 10, 4 wins in a row, plus 104. Excellent work. Red Sox are at 500, 33-33, plus 30 on the differential. Blue Jays 32-35, minus 37 on the run differential. Tampa Bay Rays last in the division, 31-35, lost 4 in a row, and they're minus 65 in the run differential. So that division, the run differential goes from best to worst, as does the overall record. Next up for the Yankees, they've got Kansas City, and they're at Kansas City, so tough series there as the Mariners just learned. The Orioles will welcome the Atlanta Braves to Camden Yards. Good series there, I bet. The Red Sox are welcoming the Phillies. That'll be tough. The Phils are still really good. And the Blue Jays travel to Milwaukee to play the National League Central Division leading Brewers. So that's not an easy series. And the Rays welcome the Chicago Cubs down to Tropicana Field. So nobody in that division is playing anybody easy in their next series. Over to the American League Central. They are led by the Cleveland Guardians, who are 42-22, 6-4 in their last 10, plus 90 on the differential. Next, behind them, 4 games back, are the Kansas City Royals, 39-27, 5-5 over their last 10, and plus 76 overall on the differential. Then come the Minnesota Twins, 35-31, minus 1 on the run differential. Detroit Tigers behind the Twins by 2.5 games. They're 32-33 with a minus 6 run differential. And then the worst team in baseball, the Chicago White Sox, the Mariners' next opponent, 17-49 on the year, 26 games back in the division, minus 144 on the run differential. That's not very good. Their away record, the White Sox, is 5-26. So hopefully the Mariners can avoid giving them another away win. That would be nice. Next up for the Royals, they're playing the Yankees, as I said. The Twins get the Colorado Rockies at home, like in Minnesota. That'll be good for them. And the Guardians go to Cincinnati. So, bit easier schedule for the Twins than anyone else so far, other than the Mariners. Obviously, they have the White Sox. And according to Tankathon, which is a cool website, the Mariners have the easiest strength of schedule out of any ball club in the majors over their next 98 games or whatever it is remaining in the season. Basically, they play teams who currently have the worst records compared to anyone else in the league. So I guess that bodes well. Speaking of boding well, the American League West. So the Mariners are leading the division 5 games ahead of the Texas Rangers with a 37-30 record. They're 6-4 over their last 10, and they have a plus 6 run differential on the year. The Texas Rangers are in second place, 31-34. They're 5-5 over their last 10 with a plus 13 run differential. Then comes Houston, 6.5 back of the Mariners, 1.5 back of the Rangers, 30-36 on the year, plus 6 on the differential. They've won 6-4 of their last 10. Fourth place, the Athletics, 26-41, minus 75. Then the Los Angeles Angels, 25-40, minus 60. Over in the venerable National League, you have the Philadelphia Phillies leading the Eastern Division. 45-20 their record. They're 7-3 in their last 10 and plus 108 on the year. The Atlanta Braves are in second place in that division, 9 games back of the Phils. They're 35-28 with a plus 31 run differential. The Washington Nationals sit in third place at 30-35 with a minus 20 differential. The New York Mets in fourth place, 28-36, minus 33. Then come the Miami Marlins, 22-43 with a minus 98 run differential. In the Central Division, it's still the Milwaukee Brewers leading. 7 games up, in fact, on the Cubs, Reds, and Cardinals. Very, very interesting. So the Brewers are 39-27, plus 63 on the differential. Second place are the Cubbies, 32-34. They're 4-6 in their last 10, and they have a minus 14 differential. Then come the Reds, who had totally fallen off and are now surging. They're 32-34. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and they have a plus 15 run differential. So I wasn't crazy when I thought they were the second best team in that division, folks, at the start of the year. I looked a little crazy for a while, but I maybe wasn't. Fourth place belongs to the Cardinals of St. Louis, 31-33, minus 40 on the differential. And then the Pittsburgh Pirates are 31-34, only 7.5 back of the Brew Crew, and they're minus 23 on the year in terms of differential. So that NL wildcard race is going to be fascinating, especially as it pertains to the Central, because those teams, other than Milwaukee, who has a bit of breathing room, are all like locked basically at an almost identical record. And finally, the National League West, you've got the LA Dodgers leading by 8 games over the San Diego Padres. The Dodgers at 41-26. They have a plus 92 differential. The Padres 34-35, plus 19. Giants are 32-34, minus 28. They're in third place. The Diamondbacks are in fourth place, 31-35 with a minus 13. And then the Colorado Rockies are last in that division with a 23-43 record and a minus 107 differential on the year. So, best team in the majors, that award still goes to the Philadelphia Phillies when you think of winning percentage. They're at 692. The Yankees are at 687, but the Yanks have 46 wins. So earlier this week, I asked who would get to 51st. The Yankees or the Phillies in terms of wins, or the White Sox in terms of losses. So the White Sox are at 17 and 49, so they're poised to do that. The White Sox are easily the worst team in the majors, easily the worst team in the American League. In the National League, the worst team is the Miami Marlins, and the worst run differential is the Colorado Rockies. Not a lot separate the Marlins and the Rockies, frankly. They both kind of stink. And I'd say overall, the most surprising thing is that both central divisions are kind of their best divisions in those respective leagues. So we look forward to continuing to follow the progress of this wonderful Major League Baseball season with you. And we're going to sign off now. Thank you for listening, and we're going to go watch the Mariners. Have a good night.